Hi everybody, Steve Cady here, and we have our Zoom session for synchronous learning. And we are going to take a Zoom roller coaster ride today. We got about 15 minutes to roll through a demonstration of Zoom. And I'm so glad to see you all here, all my friends and everybody from across campus. So the first thing in Zoom, getting started and getting everybody here, I'm just going to share my screen. I have a Google Doc, and we have different platforms that we're going to be using over time. And one of them is going to be this. So when you go in to open up a screen and share a screen, you can just click on the screen and share it. But one feature that lets you flip between tabs and documents is going to be the use of advanced. And when you click on advanced, then I click portion of the screen. And then I click share a portion of the screen, and up pops a portion of my screen. And what that allows me to do is as I click between tabs or do move around, it will actually show whatever's on my screen. If you click on the screen and show it, and then you open a new tab, it stays on the old screen and it doesn't make the switch over. So that's one little kind of tip right there. So as we look here, you can see that the purpose is for you all to leave energized, to put into practice the features that create an engaging and energizing experience for students. And the outcomes are all down below in the session steps in terms of a lot of different things I want you to learn, practical tools and resources and those kinds of things. You can download this document by hitting File and Download. So you can download it as a PDF or a Google Doc or whatever you want. You can print it, do whatever you need. So we got me here, Steve Cady, you got my email. I'm passionate about teaching and learning. BGSU is ranked, what, is it #2 in the country around the quality of teaching? And I think we all have something to be proud of in terms of our work in teaching and creating a great experience for our students. And the agenda, you can see the purpose up above in the agenda, and we're going over that now. Some ground rules. So if you go into the document, you can see in the chat room a link to the document here. This is a Google Doc, and I've set it up so that it's anybody with a link can edit. Control Z allows you to correct if you make a little mistake and do something you didn't want to do. So as you scroll down, here's some ground rules. 1, please turn on your video. 2, mute yourself. And you can also click on participants and mute all, and that takes care of that as well as a host. Keep chat appropriate and respectful, and I think that's important to actually say that. And I will tell you, if someone is not respectful, pause and use it as a teaching moment. I have had some students do some things and say things that were not appropriate and try to do it anonymously or this or that. And so sometimes you pause and you use it as a teaching moment and don't get rattled and move on from that. And don't let it take over the rest of the experience. You can raise your hand to speak. Find a good place to sit and that you can control your background, not be distracted, and those kinds of things. And don't change your background a bunch to try to play, although I will talk about how we can use our backgrounds for a fun feature, okay? The other thing you can do in a digital paper is you can type in and make notes in here. We got the chat room and we got the digital paper. What I invite you to do in the chat, I always invite the students. Go ahead and talk while we're having class. Chat, ask questions, parallel conversation. In a traditional classroom, it doesn't work well with people having side conversations while you're trying to talk. But in this, people can chat on the side and it doesn't interrupt what you're doing. And if you're recording the session, it works out really well. So I invite people to ask questions, answer questions, help each other in the chat. And you can also use a digital paper or page just for other kinds of activities and things like that with your students. You can create a document and have different kinds of creative ways to use that. Now, so I also want to say that it's important to say, hey, I'm recording the session. If you don't want to be recorded, make sure that you step out or be mindful of that, or turn off your video, whatever it is you want, because the session is being recorded. So you just say that it's recorded up front. That takes care of making sure you're okay. So would anybody be willing, and Karen, I'm going to nominate you, but I think one of the best pieces of advice I can give you all for this type of experience is invite the students to be partners with you in a playful, experimental kind of way. Say, I'd like you all to join me Help me make the class a better experience. Invite students to take and monitor the chat room. So Karen, if you don't mind, if you can monitor the chat room for me, I'd appreciate that.
You got it.
I'll check in with you periodically. I even give extra credit to the students. Now, for those that are going to be in the flex environment where they're going to be in the classroom and have some online, so you can have some students get learn the technology real quick, sit up front with you and help you manage technology for your class, and have a small team be your technology experts for your class, and they can get extra credit for helping you. And the best sales point is this will be tools in your toolkit for when you go for an interview to say that you can work in collaborative environments, in-person, distance, hybrid, flex, whatever you want to say, but it really gives you tools that you can use to give you a competitive advantage in your job interview, and a story you can tell as you helped me with this class. You can use that, and I'll be glad to give you a little letter saying something. Then you get your students to be partners with you, get enough so that they can share the duties and load and help you rotate. That's really, I think, important. Now with that, we've got our welcome and we got A, B, and C done. So I'd like to know a little something about you all. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I like to stop sharing so I can jump back out. And I would like to know a simple little question. When I think about using Zoom for live synchronous sessions with my students, I feel excited, afraid, scared, shame, guilt, curious, mad, or just downright sad. So where are you? And I think I have this set so you can pick more than one, or you can only pick one. I can't remember which one I picked. I think I changed it to you can pick more than one. And so love to hear what your thoughts are on that. And now, so here's the cool thing. If you get two cameras, I have this camera I'm looking at. And what I did is I got a Logitech camera that can move around. So I can move it around and move it up and down, and I can go in and out and stuff like that. I also got another camera that's facing a space where I can handwrite up close, like on a piece of paper. I have it particularly on a little section of a whiteboard. So when I click on video and I click on my cameras, I can click on that camera and it immediately switches over to that camera, and then I can write. So for example, so we got our and the polling, and I'll share the results. And what we have is we have excited, 24%, afraid, 17%. But it looks like, and I'm going to put it here, I'm going to show you this. It looks like we have some people, we have, we got some, we got, where do we have? We have some excited. So I'll just take this, I'll take this and make this excited. And we've got what? We've got 24%. But really the #1 vote getter, and I can actually do this. I can keep writing up here into this area here, and you can see I can write and talk and so forth. I can switch from that and switch back on my camera and switch back and say, okay, so that's that. So, but I can also hit share my screen, share screen, and I can hit, under basic, I can hit whiteboard and hit share. And there is a whiteboard, and I can draw on the whiteboard. And we know that #1, the #1 thing is curious. So I could draw, I can try to draw. What is curious? Look, what's a curious? I don't know. So I could try to draw, and I can do, you can do text, you can do, I can erase, I can do all kinds of cool things in there. So it's kind of cool. And so, and other people, the class can draw, you all can draw on it. Anybody wants to draw on the whiteboard, you can draw, and so forth. So we can have fun on the whiteboard, and we can have text and all kinds of things. So I can click out of that, and then I can stop sharing the results, and I come back. And so on our agenda, I talked about the polling, so how you can poll, and you can provide a variety of polls. And then you can do handwriting. I showed you how to do physical writing on the board over here. And then I also showed you how you can do a digital paper, like in a Google piece of paper. So we're now moving to, on the agenda, breakout rooms. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go meet a few people. We have 125 people here, 126. So now I'm going to create a bunch of rooms, and I'm just creating them. Trying to get it down to, there we go. I think we'll do that. I'm going to create rooms. I just created a whole bunch of rooms of 3 people. I'm going to hit open. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to talk about what emotion, when you think about using Zoom, what emotion does that bring up for you? You know, I'd also like you to think about, why is Zoom important? Why is this medium, why is this technology important? And what's a question you bring today? And now in the chat room, I will send these questions to you as well, so you will have them a reminder of the questions. Now here's the cool thing. I could also, as you can use backgrounds that can be distracting, but you can also give a little assignment and say, think of a background that represents how you're feeling about your assignment today, and bring that. Or maybe they solve a problem like a weather person, and they actually can bring the answer to the solution and make it their background. But you can take a bunch of stuff, and I can say, well, what's the emotion that I bring today? And I could say, well, when I think of using Zoom and all this online stuff, I might be like, oh, yikes, it's you know, and you could think of, like, in the metaphor, I could even take the metaphor and say, well, without any protection, without any support, without anything there, this is pretty darn scary. But but in the environment, you know, we're going into, with resources and the tools and the technologies and the support we have, it's less scary, right? Because I think it's fun. I think it'd be fun to jump in with sharks if I had the right kinds of things there, right? So this could be a fun way of inviting people to bring in and have a conversation as a pre-assignment before you have them show up. And you can actually put that question into a chat room. Not chat room, it's a discussion board. They can actually talk about it, do it, and bring it, right? So you can use discussion boards to get them to do pre-activities that they can then bring to your live classes, so that when people show up, they show up ready. So you can use these sessions to get people to work on assignments like discussion boards and other assignments, or you can get them to do an assignment like a discussion board, and then you process that in a live session and take the learning deeper. So I'm going to click, oh, and here's my son and the chicken coop we built this year. Anyway, we built a chicken coop during the pandemic. So now I'm going to open all rooms, and I'd like you to go have a conversation. What's the emotion? Why is Zoom important? And what's a question you bring today? I'm going to hit open. It's going to show up. Head there. Have the nice conversation. Introduce yourself. I'll give you a few minutes, about 3 minutes. These quick conversation and coming backs, that's really important. So I'll see you back in about 3, maybe 5 minutes at the most. Yep, if you all are here, so you'll see something pop up and invite you to go to a room, and you can just go right to that room. You should see something. Okay. Hey there.
Hi, I'm the only one in my breakout room, and I wondered if that's the way it should be.
That is, and when that happens, you tell your students, you can say, sometimes if you put them in a breakout room that's too small, some people don't show up, people are trying to come. Sometimes you just say, hey, it's a moment to reflect on the questions yourself. You know, that happens. Or you make it, if you wanted to, you might make it 4 people. I made it 3 per room, so everybody should have shown up, at least 2. But maybe it needed to be 4 and to ensure at least a couple showed up.
Got it. And I was probably the last person to enter your session, so maybe I was the odd man out. Makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just reflect, and then I'll see you back in just a minute. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Hey there. So if you're here, you can join a breakout room. If not, you can just reflect the questions that we are using. I'm going to go to, where's the, there we go. I got to send a message to everybody about the questions. No, that's not it. Let me get these questions here. I'll just copy and paste these questions in to the broadcast to all. Hit broadcast all, paste in the questions, and broadcast to all. And hi everybody, that's here. We are in breakout rooms. So there's a variety of people out there. The questions are, what's the emotion you bring today around Zoom? Why is Zoom important? And what's a question you bring today? So anybody that's here that didn't make it to a breakout room, you're more than welcome to unmute and share with me your thoughts on, what do you, when you think of Zoom, what emotion does it bring up for you? Why is it important? And what's the question you bring today? Does anybody here want to share their thoughts on that question? All right, so I'm
Hello.
going.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, raising my hand. I was muted while we were doing the breakout session, so sorry about that. But I think my main question is, there's so many different platforms with WebEx and Canvas and Zoom. When will the students and when will we be notified about the primary category? Because it's very confusing right now.
So there are some experts here from CFE as well as technology that can answer the question. Feel free to unmute. I will give a quick answer for you. They are working to get a license and going to get it launched before the fall starts so that you can use Zoom. And so you will have Zoom as an option. I think you'll still have WebEx as an option. And
Yes.
you'll be able to choose between the two. And we'll be providing lots of resources and continue to provide resources on how to use Zoom. The handouts here that you see, the main handout here, these are lots of good ones. I mean, if you start with this and you do this, you'll be good to go with Zoom in many ways. And we'll be doing a learning community activities and things to continue to share and support each other. Holly, did you want to say anything else?
Yeah, if it was just about Zoom, Zoom will be integrated with Canvas, and it sounds like it will be done in August. I'm not sure when ITS will be implementing that, and WebEx will be also there, but the Zoom allows for the breakout rooms where WebEx has not.
Okay.
I heard end of this month, beginning of the next month. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I'm hoping sooner than later.
Yeah, and if somebody could repaste in the link to the document, to the main handout document for people that just showed up, that would be great because it has everything. So if you could in the chat, what questions do you all have? Post some questions that you have. So let's capture them all in the chat. So what questions did you all discuss in your breakout room? And I'd like to take a couple minutes and then we're done for today. To ask you answer a couple questions. One was, when is Zoom going to be available? How is it going to work? We're going to have Zoom, WebEx, and at the end of this month, beginning of next month, you'll be able to have the access to Zoom through Canvas. And then the other thing I mentioned at the very beginning was the most important advice I can give you is have fun experimenting with the technology with your students as your partner. Whenever I've invited my students to join me as partners in the experience and to help me and to play different support roles and to learn and to actually be assistants on a session, I can have a person be a co-host and I can have people help and monitor the chat room and that kind of stuff. And and even for the synchronous in-class, the flex in-class stuff, when you invite them and train them and teach them and give them some extra credit, they love it and it adds to their toolkit. So I can tell you that the biggest way to manage the complexity of all the stuff that you're managing is to invite the participants to help you with facilitating and running your class sessions. And they will love doing that with you. Kim, you're here? Are you here?
Are you
Dr.
looking for me, Steve, about
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, could you share? We're going to wrap up because we are done. We're at our 20 minutes. It's been a Zoom roller coaster ride. Could you share with us what you saw in the chat, a little summary, and maybe one of your favorite questions that you see in there?
So people are wondering where you figured out where'd you get all your resources and cool tech that you have, and if there's some, whether ITS can hook us up with extra cameras and all that good stuff. Also, people were, one of my questions was, is there some level of expectation we can have for our students in terms of their competency and their tech, like to access these things? So there's, for example, differences with students' access to certain things when they have a Chromebook versus a Mac versus a tablet or whatever. And so can we assume all of our students are at some level so that we're not putting out a bunch of different tech fires, with our 300 students or whatever?
So you asked a few questions. So
Yeah.
I'll start with the last one, and then you can remind me of the first one.
Yeah.
In general, I have found Zoom to be friendly for a variety of devices, because people can get in with a browser without downloading Zoom if they need to, as long as they have the link. I normally have my room, and I have my room set up so that people can come to it any time, so it's the same link every time. Or I can, some people have preferences in terms of setting each of the class meetings, and they have their own link at that time and stuff like that. I typically just make it a room. Here's the same link. Come on to the room. So that's what I do. And it generally works pretty well. And it has been pretty amenable to people all over the world. I've done them with people from every country and every place and level of technology. So Zoom has been quite friendly with that, I have found.
And
Well, any other questions before we wrap up? Because I think
we have a lot of people are answering the questions. Thank you, everybody. Jody and everybody are answering as fast as the questions are coming. They're getting it. Jerry's answering too. So
awesome.
ITS has some great links to videos for Zoom, like how to do all these tools. Some of them are like a 10-minute video. Some are like 2 minutes. Like, how do I do this? And it's a screencast and shows you how to click and set it up. So I urge people to look at that too for all these different tools that Zoom has.
Awesome. So in wrapping up, and again, this was a Zoom roller coaster ride through all the features. On the screen here and at this link, which you all have, tinyurl.com fall-flex-zoom-2020. It's in the chat. It has a bunch of links here, and there's a variety of ones I really like. And one I've been working on, which is research and stuff I've been doing with Jerry, with the College of Business and a committee, the 10 core practices of distance learning. You'll see a bunch of resources there that go beyond Zoom, and you'll see some other things there that I think you'll find helpful to you. Again, thank you, everybody. High five. Have a great day, and know that I'm here for you, and we got lots of people at BG that are here for you. So you got my email. So bye for now. There'll be a recording. You got the link. I'll put the recording on this page, a link to this recording on YouTube on this page. CFE will have it, and they'll put it in their features as well. So have a great rest of the day. I'll see you all for now, and bye.
Hey, Steve, are you still there?
I am.
Will you please share the chat? Like, I don't know if the recording has the chat or if that's a separate document, because a lot of people are posting good resources in the chat.
What I'll do is I'll attach the chat link into this main document. And I'll have a separate document, okay?
Perfect.
I might even put the chat, I'll put the chat at the end of this document.
Perfect. Thanks so much. This was awesome. It really gave me some inspiration about how to think creatively to use all these tools. So I appreciate you. Looking
Just have fun and partner play with the students. Have them be with you.
Well, I have 20 LAs to help me, so I should be able to figure this out.
You'll be great.
All right,
Karen,
see you tomorrow morning.
You. I look forward to seeing you live or in person when we get a chance.
Yep, very soon. All right, see you tomorrow morning. I'm going to be at your session then too. So.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.